So what happens if the trig function and the inverse trig function aren't the same base function? So for example, what is cos of arc sine of root 3 on 2? So the cos here and arc sine here. Well, then we have to work it out. We have to find out what is the arc sine of root 3 on 2. What angle has a sine value of of root 3 on 2? Well, let's get our triangle out. 1, 2, root 3. Root 3 on 2, root 3 on 2, opposite on hypotenuse for sine, is pi on 3. So I want cos of pi on 3. Will it help you if I put brackets there? Maybe it will. Okay, what's cos of pi on 3? Well, cos of pi on 3, adjacent on hypotenuse, is a half. Let's try another. Sine of arc cos of 3 on 5. So I'm looking for the angle that has 3 on 5 as its cosine, and then to get the sine value. Now, there's two ways to approach this. You can actually work out the cos value, the angle. I actually recommend you don't, because you won't be getting an exact value. 3 on 5 isn't an exact value, but it does come from a particular triangle. So, if you recognise the triangle, you can go, it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Cos is 3 on 5, adjacent on hypotenuse, so we're talking about this angle here. And then its sine will be 4 on 5. So if you know the triangle, you could go straight to 4 on 5. And if you drew this triangle to show me you understood it, that would be fine. But what if you can't think of this triangle? What if you don't recognise the numbers you're given to work that out? What can you do? Well, we do have a relationship between sine and cos. So I've got an angle whose cos is 3/5. Let me write that like this. Here's an alternative way to solve this. All right? Cos of my angle, actually I called it theta, so maybe I should stick to that. Cos of my theta was 3 on 5. I want to get to sine, so I can do this. Well, cos squared theta plus sine squared theta is 1. So put in what I know. 3 on 5 squared plus sine squared theta is 1. Which means 9 on 25 plus sine squared theta is 1. Do some algebra. Sine squared theta is 1 minus 9 on 25, which is 16 on 25. And that means that sine theta must be plus or minus the square root of that, which is plus or minus 4 on 5. Now again, I don't know just looking at this whether it's positive or negative, but I do know based on this. Cos is positive. So remember our unit circle. The angle must either be here or here, right? Either here or here. But arc cos 3/5, and arc cos is by definition between 0 and pi. So my cos value is here somewhere. So if cos is positive and it's here, then it must be in the first quadrant. So we can actually write, but theta is in first quadrant, therefore sine theta must be positive 4/5. and then again we've solved it. Sine of arc cos of 3 on 5 is 4 on 5. Let me just summarise that again for you. So you can simply recognise the triangle. 3, 4, 5, yes, there are others. Or instead, you can use a trigonometric identity. Given you know what cos is, you can work out what sine is. Let's try one more. Sine of arctan of negative 12 on 5. Okay, so again, if you recognise this triangle, and I'm telling you now it's a 5, 12, 13 triangle, then you can save yourself some work, as long as you get the sine right. But most of you, well, some of you may have heard of the 3, 4, 5 triangle, most of you won't know about the 5, 12, 13 triangle. So let's work it out the hard way. Okay? Let theta equal arctan of negative 12 on 5. Then I know that my angle is between pi on 2 and negative pi on 2. Sorry, I got myself confused there because I said pi on 2 when I wrote the negative 1. Anyway, okay, so I know this is true. I also know that tan theta is negative 12 on 5. Now, how can I relate tan and sine? Do you remember a trigonometric identity that links tan and sine? I do. 1 plus cot squared is cosec squared. 1 plus cot squared theta is cosec squared theta. So 1 plus cot squared is 5 on 12 squared. I'm ignoring the negative because I'm squaring it. Let's just leave it as cosec for now. Okay. Whoops. Moved my paper funny. So cosec squared theta is 1 plus 25 on 144. Cosec squared theta. What's this? 144 plus 25. Will it help if I write that? Plus 25 over 144. Cosec squared theta is 169 on 144. Can you see 13 squared here? All right, that's cosec squared. So cosec theta is plus or minus the square root of that. Cosec theta is plus or minus 13 on 12. This is 1 over sine. So sine theta is plus or minus 12 on 13. So far, so good. Do I want the positive or the negative? Well, tan was negative, and I'm in the first or second quadrants. Is tan negative here or here? Tan is negative here. I'm in the fourth quadrant. So, is sine positive or negative in the fourth quadrant? Sine is the y-coordinate, it's negative in the fourth quadrant. But my angle is in the fourth quadrant. Therefore, sine theta is negative 12 on 13. And I've answered the question. The sine value I want is negative 12 on 13.